Hi, I'm Dr. Crystal Collier, and today we're talking about illicit drugs. The word illicit is used to describe drugs that are illegal to have, like cocaine or heroin, and the abuse of drugs that are legally available, like painkillers or ADHD medicine. It's important to learn about illicit drugs because of how harmful and addictive they are. Illicit drugs can change brain structure as quickly as the first, second, or even third time using it. Most young people know these dangers and choose not to use them, as seen in this graph, showing the small percentage of students who admitted to using illicit drugs in middle school. Most high schoolers make good choices too, and the numbers are still low, although pain med use starts to go up at this age. I wonder what's going on there. Maybe it's because some illicit drugs are also sold as a medicine and prescribed by doctors, which makes people think they're safe. But how do you know if they're harmful or not? To answer this question, let's explore how the harm caused by a drug is measured. There are 5 ways to measure the harm caused by illicit drugs. First is withdrawal, or the unpleasant physical symptoms that occur when drug use stops. Second is reinforcement, which is how euphoric or positive the drug makes a user feel. Third is tolerance, and that happens when a drug user gets used to a drug's effect and has to use more or a stronger type to get the same effect. Fourth is dependence, which is how quickly a drug causes addiction. And 5 is intoxication, which refers to how drunk or impaired a person becomes on the substance. Okay, but hold on. Do all addictive substances cause intoxication or impair the user? The answer is no. See if you can guess which drugs in this list do not cause intoxication. This is a list of some of the most addictive substances on Earth and the percentage chance that the user will get addicted to them. Coming in at number 1 is nicotine. Even though it does not cause intoxication, it has the highest risk of causing addiction. Various forms of methamphetamine and cocaine come in next, followed by heroin and other opioids and drugs called barbiturates. Alcohol always makes it to the top 10 most harmful drugs, but cannabis or marijuana is moving up the list because it's being genetically modified to be more addictive. Caffeine makes the list because it's highly addictive, but it is the other drug that does not cause intoxication. One of the first warning signs that a drug is harming you is what happens when you stop taking it. Some drugs can have mild withdrawal symptoms that cause problems with mood or sleep, while others can make users feel really sick when coming off the drug. If you've ever loved someone that struggles with an addiction, you can see what's happening, but they don't seem to. This is called denial. I mean, I get it. Nobody wants to grow up and become an addict or an alcoholic. But sometimes when people are in denial about how much a drug is harming them, they may blame others for their use, or deny that the drug is harming them, or even see the drug as having positive effects when it's really holding them back. If you love someone who struggles like this, keep talking about it openly with your family and see a counselor or another trusted adult for help. Now, here's what you need to know about a few illicit drugs you may hear about. Inhalants are the vapors or gases produced from toxic substances found in household sprays. They should not be inhaled because they quickly starve the brain of oxygen, causing dangerous effects and even death. Anabolic steroids are man-made copies of the male hormone testosterone, prescribed by doctors to treat hormonal problems, but are sometimes abused by athletes. These are dangerous because they can be very addictive and cause organ damage, increase aggression, and cause the development of breasts in men. Cocaine is a stimulant that comes from the coca leaves grown in South America. It's highly addictive and causes dangerous heart problems. The withdrawal symptoms and long-term effects of cocaine are so bad they can lead to paranoia, depression, and psychosis. The top brain shows a cocaine addict before going to treatment and then after. You can see the brain is turning back on and getting healthy again. Opiates are drugs that come from the poppy plant, like opium and heroin. Opioids are man made pills like oxycodone or fentanyl, prescribed by doctors to treat severe pain. You may be aware of the overdose death epidemic in our country due to overprescribing and abuse of opioids. You may even know someone who's died of an overdose. That's why it's so important to only take these meds as prescribed by a reputable doctor. Withdrawals from opiates and opioids can be particularly traumatizing, painful, and persist over months or years. If you think someone may be overdosing on opioids because you can't wake them, they aren't breathing normally, or they're vomiting uncontrollably, get help from someone who can administer life-saving drugs that can reverse an overdose. Hallucinogens and dissociative drugs like LSD, magic mushrooms, ayahuasca, ketamine, salvia, or kratom. These can damage more areas of the brain because they affect different receptor sites than other drugs do. This is why they cause hallucinations, and that means seeing or hearing things that are not really there. MDMA or ecstasy is a combination of a hallucinogen and a stimulant that alters mood and perceptions. The effects of ecstasy use can have long-reaching effects and can cause mood disorders and liver damage. Benzodiazepines like Xanax are depressants that slow down brain activity. They impair memory and can cause a high risk of overdose and seizures. Amphetamines are stimulant drugs that speed up messages between the brain and body. Some amphetamines are prescribed by doctors to treat ADD or ADHD, but it's important to remember that these can be abused and become addictive. So it's critical not to take someone else's meds, even if you're prescribed the same thing. It may be a different brand or strength. Methamphetamines are very powerful illicit street drugs that have no medical use. They are highly addictive and cause lasting damage to the brain and body. Okay, so if illicit drugs are so dangerous and harmful, why do people even try them? When asked, those who have tried illicit drugs admitted that they were curious and thought it would be fun. They thought everybody was doing it, or they wanted to forget their problems and feel relaxed. But you know the brain's rule, and that drugs turn off the frontal lobe, making it difficult to use. But keeping a drug-free brain on and growing will give you lots of opportunities to learn how to relax, cope, and have fun naturally.